and you guys just keep going, and I'll ask questions at the end, if you're lucky. I'm kidding. So wherever you are, Charlotte, you guys are in order. So just move on down the road. Hi, Lauren. Long time no see. Good to see you. All right, go ahead.
All right, let's see. All right, Charlotte Ashcraft, Director of Fleet Management. Environmental responsibility and sustainability are not new words for fleet. We have long worked to incorporate alternative fuels into the fleet. One of the biggest hurdles we have faced over the years in our efforts to be greener has been drivers. Convincing a driver that an alternative fuel technology vehicle is solid has been an uphill battle. Others have said if you buy the car, they have to drive the car. Well, that is true. But it is also true that if they don't trust the car, they bring it in repeatedly. So the rumor goes out, the alternative fuel vehicle is always in the shop. So what did we accomplish? This has been an issue for fleet's alternative vehicles for many years. But I'm happy to say our dedication and persistence is finally beginning to show. In 2015, we replaced 35 vehicles with new, smaller, more fuel-efficient ones. Our fleet miles per gallon average increased from 14.6 in 2014 to 16.8 year-to-date in 2015. To me, that is a success. With the fleet driving approximately 4.8 million miles so far this year, it's a big success. In 2011, we purchased our first hybrid vehicles, electric over gasoline, and put them into service with select drivers in the sheriff's office. The drivers were hesitant at first, but when asked, they were glad to be asked to be our test subjects. 2 years later, we had the other drivers asking to have hybrids. In 2014, we purchased 3 more, and again, we had the sheriff's office drivers asking to be considered. In 2015, we purchased 2 plug-in hybrids, one assigned to the probate court division and the other to the sheriff's office. Both drivers have made it a goal to get the best mileage possible. One is at 52 miles per gallon, while the other is at 44. I call that a success times 2.
That's great.
In 2016, Fleet is looking forward to PFM installing plug-in stations for our electric hybrid vehicles. This will allow the vehicles to recharge while in the parking garage. Fleet plans to add 6 more plug-in hybrids to our electric sedans and place them in service throughout the fleet. The more customer buy-in we get, the more successful the program will be. As the drivers use these vehicles, they discover how unassuming they are. They look like and perform like their standard engine counterparts, but the fuel economy is so much better. The best cheerleader for our alternative fuel program is our drivers. So the more fuel-efficient vehicles we can deploy in the fleet and prove that they are a good vehicle, the more the drivers talk, and the more their co-workers want to be requested to have one. And the circle goes on. And another benefit to the county's alternative fuel program is that the drivers of these vehicles start considering them as a personal vehicle. One of the 12 people I surveyed, 8 responded and 5 stated that they were going to look to purchase a hybrid vehicle for their next new car. To me, that is a win-win, a win for the environment and also a win for Franklin County. Fleet will continue to promote our alternative fuel vehicles and be a strong proponent to the Franklin County Commissioner's commitment to environmental sustainability. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
I'm the Director of Public Facilities Management. Today I'm joined by several key staff members. Dick Myers, Assistant Director of Property Management and Construction. Lauren Stoll, our Chief Fiscal Officer. Darla Reardon, our Assistant Director for Administrative Services. Dick's the one with the beard. This year, they're the parties really, I wanted to be recognized. They're the most responsible really for this department's accomplishments and the success of any new initiatives. I'm really fortunate to have such an experienced and talented leadership team. Commissioners, downtown Columbus and Central Ohio is in the midst of a residential building boom. Builders can't build apartments fast enough. Well, PFM is one of the county's largest landlords. We have thousands of residents in the downtown government center and in buildings throughout the county who spend over 8 hours of every day in their workspace homes. And we have tens of thousands of their customers who visit these work locations each day. PFM missions and goals are spelled out in this slide. This is the long version, indicating we attempt to deliver our services and manage the county's properties through the efficient, cost-effective, eco-friendly, and innovative utilization of available resources. The short version is to say PFM is a very large provider of critical professional services. Our management team wanted to take steps to further simplify our service message, both as a constant reminder to staff of their roles and as a statement to our agency tenants and their customers. For those reasons, you will be seeing this logo and tagline in many of our agency communications. PFM is here to be at your service, providing property and construction management services to create a sustainable future through building preservation practices, green architecture, and smart, energy-efficient design. On a daily basis, we collaborate with other county offices and agencies in the delivery of essential services. When PFM is part of the equation, we want this helping hand logo and our commitment to providing quality service to be how the agency tenants and their customers view our role. We are at your service. Today we'll touch briefly on the accomplishments in 2015 and more importantly talk about our goals and plans for next year. Your core principles emphasize our commitment to promote good stewardship of our environmental resources and sustainability. PFM has many opportunities to be a leader in this service arena. Many of the program initiatives are those PFM promotes on a continuing basis. But in 2015, we expanded our efforts with both new initiatives and by repackaging some existing actions. We found that there's a need to always make your efforts be fresh, to be new, to keep our building residents and visitors engaged in the culture we're trying to promote. In your handout, we comment on some of the 2015 Sustainable Program accomplishments. PFM received a grant for the establishment of a native species pollinator wildflower garden. We installed it near our harvest garden located on Frank Road. Last week, we also expanded that very successful harvest garden. We prepared the ground and doubled the number of plots available to gardeners for next spring. We worked at increasing the level of participation in all of our recycling programs, both by our building residents and visitors. Almost 400 tons of recycled materials were diverted from our landfill, reducing our carbon footprint by taking the equivalent of over 300 cars off the road. At the same time, the county received revenue from the resale of recycled paper, cardboard, and metal, and from the sale of discarded equipment using the internet auction site govdeals.com. In promoting all of our sustainable programs, we've been supported by other agencies, but most specifically by the efforts of our public affairs group. They've done an excellent job in promoting our activities. Your core principles emphasize our commitment to promote job creation and economic development. The construction and renovation projects executed and managed by our property management group has been a job generator in the last year, many being good-paying construction jobs. They include the big and small, from repaving projects to performing building maintenance, to adding mother rooms in our facilities, to really major building projects. In your handout, we recap our major construction and renovation efforts undertaken in 2015. Maybe atop the list of construction projects from this year was an abatement and demolition project. The decommissioning of Veterans Memorial in advance of the construction of the new Ohio Veterans Memorial Museum was a major undertaking. We also advanced the planning and design activities for the construction of the new Forensic Science Center and the new correctional facility. Now, these types of projects are the headline grabbers, and deservedly so. However, not so flashy are many of the smaller projects managed or performed by in-house PFM staff. I provided a partial listing of what is a long list of other construction initiatives that PFM completed in the past year. Tackling the water infiltration issues in this building and the Juvenile Detention Center, upgrading the fire alarm system in the building, remodeling and build-out of space for many agencies, public health, the new Guardianship Service Board, and many others. As I stated, these are not flashy projects, but really essential to making the best use of space and equipment and paying attention to the infrastructure of our existing facilities. Also, perhaps underappreciated are the technology initiatives which PFM undertakes and supports. We've all had firsthand experience of how telephone and computer dependent we've become in order to conduct business. Your handout, we recap our major technology-based actions. We focused on using technology to improve departmental business processes to make them more cost efficient. The cost to provide even basic telephone and data services is substantial. It requires staff to be vigilant in continually auditing our accounts and identifying opportunities for savings. We have PFM staff with that mindset in our fiscal and telecommunications groups. Their efforts garnered over $100,000 in annual savings by auditing and negotiating reductions for equipment purchases and maintenance support. Adam Luchtow, the Commissioner's CIO, and the Office of Management and Budget have been very helpful in working with us on all these IT initiatives, I'd like to note. However, these 2015 accomplishments are in our rearview mirror. PFM is focusing on new goals and delivering best-in-class services in 2016. We've submitted a results-oriented budget that responds to this strategic policy objectives of this board. PFM will continue in our role as your lead agency in promoting sustainable practices and policies. In your handout are a few of our 2016 initiatives we will be pursuing. The emphasis in this area will continue to be on education, reinforcing the culture we want to create to reuse, repurpose, and recycle at every opportunity. Our team thinks there are opportunities to bolster our recycling efforts at the desk level. I don't think staff quite yet appreciates the impact they can make in their own individual offices and workstations. PFM, as Charlotte noted, is installing multiple electronic charging stations in the Front Street garage in support of the purchase of the electric hybrid vehicles. Next few pages of your handout, you will highlight some of your next year's more prominent construction and renovation initiatives. PFM will continue to promote the application of LEED certification standards and sustainable design concepts in the construction of new facilities and renovations of existing buildings. Several high-profile projects are at the top of our list: advancing the planning and design for the construction of the new Forensic Science Center and the correctional facility, expansion of the offices of the Board of Elections in preparation for the 2016 general election, providing expanded Wi-Fi service in our facilities, securing design services for the proper display and installation of the veterans' plaques now being returned to Memorial Hall. For PFM, it's something of a continuing chess game. We're moving the pieces around the board in a cost-effective manner to ensure agencies have adequate and satisfactory space. Technology-based actions in 2016. As indicated, the number of initiatives and projects is extensive. I've listed a number of technology-based initiatives that we want to explore. Internally, our need to acquire new enterprise resource system software is critical. Our age software within the agency no longer can be the vehicle we utilize to manage construction projects, maintain our existing facilities, and manage our day-to-day operations. This is really a mission-critical need for PFM. Next year, we want to further implement VoIP services and capability to county agencies to improve operational efficiency, enhance customer service, and reduce costs. As I indicated earlier, PFM has submitted a results-oriented budget. We will again be at your service. We think it's a budget that aligns with your strategic policy objectives. We welcome any questions you have regarding our requests and goals for next year. Thank you.
Good afternoon. We really like being at the other end of this table in support. Commissioners, I just want to draw your attention to both Charlotte and Jim Goodno's departments. Very fine operations, and that they always provide us at your service, and so my hat's off to you. But good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you for your time for us to be able to highlight our department. Joining me at the table is Marie Dokolovic, our engineer, and Charlene Schultheis, who's going to talk about highlight some of our customer care and support operations. I'd like to begin with, I didn't practice this. We're very proud to serve you, as well as to help you meet your core principle of promoting stewardship of our natural resources, environmental sustainability, and civic engagement. We are water experts, and to us, water is a very precious resource. Our mission is to provide safe and reliable water and sewer services to the residents of Franklin County in such a way that we protect both the environment and the health of our residents. These are also considered precious resources. So we are also very happy to gather to serve the other part of their core principle, to provide efficient and responsive government operations, and we're going to talk about that. So for our department, we have 4 programs that we use to meet both our mission statement and our strategic initiatives. The water and sewer delivery programs are almost self-explanatory. The environmental compliance program is the fund or the program we use to make sure that we provide the data to the Ohio EPA for their organization so that they can properly watch us. And then the water quality partnership program is that we've talked about before, where we're making the connections and bringing unsanitary homes in to compliance. So operationally, I just want to basically highlight some of the things that we did over 2015. Our water delivery program, we project that by the end of the year, we will have produced and or treated over 520 million gallons, and about 342 million was delivered to the homes. Now that is a unaccounted water for about 35%, and I understand that that is high. That's not something that we're very happy with ourselves, because our goal is always to keep it around 20%. But we have had over about 21 water breaks in the SD4 system, and Marie is also going to talk about a capital project, a very major capital project on Broad Street, where we're replacing our water line. There's been substantial flushing of the water, and so we know that we've lost some water on that. But on the 520 million gallons of water, I wanted to try to put that into some kind of conceptual idea. And if you could think of a football field size pool, and 520 million gallons would actually call for the pool to be 1,458 feet deep. So that sort of gives us an idea of how much water is going out into all our systems that we oversee. On the sewer delivery, we have treated almost 360 million gallons of sewage. And then on the compliance stats, I listed a couple of items there of permits that we've issued, both repair and new. But one of the things I wanted to highlight is that we are, at June, we became an OOPS member, the Ohio Utility Protection Service. And we are receiving and reviewing about 700 tickets a month. That is something we weren't really prepared for. We said, sure, we'll participate. Marie and Gil and Dan Freeman have done an excellent job trying to figure out a process that it doesn't inundate us. But in response to those, we're marking about 125 a month. So the rest of them are just tickets that they're not an interference or anywhere near our utilities, the utilities that you own. On our backflow cross-connection program, this is a very big milestone for us. If you remember on the EPA SD4 DFFO that we had, a milestone that we had to reach in August was to make sure that the entire system was compliant with our backflow. Gil Krieger has done an admirable job in less than a year getting that entire system, all customers, up to compliant status, and so I wanted to highlight that. It's over 4,000 customers that are educated about what the backflow and cross-connection program is. Then we also have 163 devices that are installed, and we're also receiving annual reports of from 236 customers. EPA is very happy about this, and that in Central Ohio, we're one of a handful of systems that are fully compliant. So that's a very good feather in the cap of our staff. On the environmental compliance, we do our normal reports to EPA, and over 12,000 sampling data comprising a little bit more than 5,400 reports. This is everything from our daily monitoring, our weekly or quarterly, and even annual. And in the water quality partnership projects, and you'll hear some more about that from Marie, that we did, we have completed a couple of, the Leonard Park and the Eureka Park. We are reevaluating the money back in the Brown Road, and we will have a report to you by the end of the year on that. With the Water Quality Partnership Program, you remember there was a substantial list of projects to do, about 21 communities. We have 4 remaining. We estimate it's somewhere about 342 homes left to connect. I just wanted to notate too on Darbydale, there are 2 mobile home parks that someday they're going to be connected. And that's another 385 homes that will be connected to our Darbydale system. So, customer care and support.
Good afternoon. Currently, we have 4,295 water customers, which is 93% residential and 7% commercial. And we have 6,202 sewer customers. Of that, 95% are residential and 5% is commercial. We also have 8 new customers for Leonard Park. The Sanitary Engineers Department, we bill out on a staggered quarterly basis, and we have 13 billing cycles. As of January 2016, with the addition of Leonard Park, we will expand that to 14 billing cycles. We average approximately 950 customer interactions per month, and that is everything from phone calls, letters, individuals coming in. Once a quarter, there will be approximately 100 calls per day, and that sustains for about 15 days, and that's when our SD4, the largest district, when those bills go out and when they are due. We process anywhere from 1,850 to 2,445 customer payments per month, again, higher whenever SD4 is due. Service calls for the field are scheduled through our billing department. We average normally 3 to 7 per day, with the exception of the 2 to 3 weeks when SD4 goes out, and those can be anywhere from 10 to 20 per day.
Do you have anything about that?
That's it.
Hello again. We always like to highlight our engineering projects that you've helped us with in the past. This year we've completed 2 major water quality partnership area projects, which would be Leonard Park, which is our water system, slightly over 1 mile of pipe, and we have 109 taps installed in that system. And then we've also done Eureka Park, and I got those mixed up. Leonard Park is 3.5 miles of pipe, and Eureka Park is sewer, and that is over 1 mile of pipe and 74 customers. Both of those are at the end, they are completed, and as Charlene mentioned earlier, the connections are underway on Leonard Park. We also performed a mini rehabilitation of our Century Acres wastewater treatment plant. This was a treatment plant that is very old. It serves approximately 60 homes, and we are planning to decommission this in the coming years. However, it needed sort of a little rehabilitation to keep it in compliance and keep it running efficiently for the next few years as we work to decommission that through a design of a pump station and force main. There's one other operational thing that we've done that I need to highlight that's not on your slide, is we have installed what's called a Mission data logging system on all our pumping stations and at 3 of our wastewater treatment plants. This has increased the ability for real-time access to what our pump stations are doing, when the pumps are performing, how they respond when it rains, do they run longer, it does alarm systems. I can tell who was called, who answered when they got to the station. So it's just a lot of data that will help with our efficiency and preventative maintenance of our pumping stations and treatment plants. Projects that are underway are our sanitary sewer evaluation study. This is a multi-year project. We completed phase 1 in 2015, which has given us the greatest gift ever that I can think of, and that is a comprehensive GIS map of our infrastructure. We have not had that in the past. We have worked off record drawings. So phase one has not only helped develop this map for us, it has also given us a snapshot of the condition of our sewer system in the many service areas that we operate. What we have found from that snapshot is that yes, there is a response when it rains. We have put flow monitors in and found that the flow does go up when it rains, which means that some rain and groundwater is getting into our system. But on the more positive note, the condition of our sewers, which can be from the 20s up to Eureka Park, which is brand new, are in generally good physical condition. So I'm not saying no projects will come out of this, but that's pretty good news so far. In phase two, we're going to drill down on some of the areas that we noted needing more specific field work. And we're also doing hydraulic modeling for capacity, so we should start getting an even greater picture of our system throughout now and into 2016, with the final report being 2017. Commissioner O'Grady, I don't know if you can tell, but that GIS map, it happens to be of Ridgewood Estates. It's hard to tell, but yes, that's Ridgewood Drive there, and that's a snapshot of our GIS where you can click on a manhole there and see its attributes, how deep it is, how many pipes come in and out, and so forth. Yeah, it's small, but I was thinking about you. Our other project that is currently underway is our second project with ODOT. They are working on, I guess I call it a beautification of Broad Street in Franklin and Prairie Townships. The second project is all in Prairie Township, for which our SD4 service area is located. So we are having our 1950s era water mains replaced as part of that project. The north side of the project area is complete. The south side will be starting as soon as the weather breaks after the winter. And it's just been a really huge savings to the county by collaborating with ODOT on this project, as we did not pay full design fees, survey fees, and so on, and inspection fees, because ODOT's inspecting for us. So that is a huge benefit to us and for the customers in SD4. Upcoming for 2016, we are, which you approved this morning, entering into replacing the Cherrydale pump station and force main in Hamilton Meadows. That is a aged pumping station. It was built in 1969. Serves approximately 200 customers, so it is at the end of its useful life, and it needs upgraded, and we are going forth with that as of this morning. We are also going to be working on a design to decommission 2 of our wastewater treatment plants, our Oakhurst Knolls plant and Century Acres plant. We are going to be designing and eventually constructing a pump station and force main to end up decommissioning those, which will save us resources in manpower and EPA sampling, as our other Darbydale can handle Oakhurst Knolls, and Canal Winchester can handle the flow from Century. And then we are also ongoing on our Darbydale wastewater treatment plant improvements project, and that will hopefully be finished design by the end of 2016 and start constructing in 2017.
Commissioners, and you've heard us talk about this before. Operating this department, we have some of the finest staff you've heard already. Charlene has taken over for the financial administration, and we have stats now that we can report to you about customers, interactions, financial transactions. Marie has been really streamlining our operations. You've heard about the mission units, so that we can gather real-time data and react more intelligently with our systems. But overall, it's still a balancing act that we're trying to work with this department, is that we have the regulations, the mandates, we have equipment needs and infrastructure needs, but then we also are facing funding issues that you know about, that we keep talking about. And the rates are gonna, all of this puts higher pressure on the rates and keeps the rates going up. And our strategic issues still remain the compliance and the funding of our construction projects. So that is the conclusion.
Thank you. Thank you for your attention to the sustainability and resilience aspects of what you do. We've had the hottest year in recorded human history. We know these climate impacts are real. And having served on the bipartisan White House Task Force on Climate Preparedness and Resilience, we also know that there are going to be greater costs that you all are already dealing with. You're seeing it, you're on the front lines. So thank you for both doing that and also keeping an eye towards the taxpayer cost and holding down those at the same time that we're really grappling with these challenges. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Good job, guys. Question for Jim. Jim, we're at the design stage for the jail project, and we just finished the contract, and now we're getting any idea, an ETA for a groundbreaking on the new jail project that I'll officially run?
Commissioners, we are thinking substantial occupancy for the new jail will be in June of 2019. So we first have to go through design, then we're estimating a 28-month construction period. So back up 28 months from June of 2019, and that's where we're at. So we're currently right now going through the programming and verification of the programming efforts with the Sheriff's Department and other interested parties. That's going very well, yeah.
Takes a long time.
It is a long project.
What was that, 2019?
June of 2019 is when
Completion
the correctional
date.
facility substantial occupancy inmates in the
And
facility.
back up how many months, I'm sorry?
28 months of construction.
You'll have a Gantt chart at some point. How long do you think it will take to produce that?
I can give you a chart now, but
Okay,
it's
that'd be
pretty
nice to
preliminary,
see.
but I'll
Yeah.
shoot you one upstairs.
That'd be nice to see.
Okay.
And I actually have a question for Jim, if you're finished, Commissioner O'Grady, okay? In your telecommunications discussion, we're constantly doing upgrades. Given everything that's going on in the world, and we've had other discussions about this, I know you're paying close attention to security and working closely with law enforcement, the sheriff's office, with Adam, but do you feel like we're staying ahead of that curve?
I think we are, Commissioners. We're taking our lead, as you know, from the data center, who is responsible for all those security aspects, and I think they've got a pretty good handle on all those types of issues at this point in time.
Good. Okay. It's just top of mind for all of us, I think, right now.
Very much so. I understand, Commissioner.
Right. Thank you. Okay.
Stephen, what's our total number of customers in sanitary jail? Roughly.
4,200 on the water and say 6,000 in sewer.
And some of them are water, obviously.
Right, some of them overlap, yes, sir,
Some are
right.
overlap, okay. So we're small.
We are very small.
And very, 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 very spread out.
And that's exactly right, and that's highlighting some of the difficulties with this, is that if you want to compare us to like the telecom industry, where they have similar type capital costs, they can actually recover those costs by many users on a tower. With us, we have pipes that go on for a long time, but not enough users connected to the pipe.
Well, and
And
a lot
it's
of that's been related to the city of Columbus's water and annexation policies through the years, because our water area used to be much larger, but as annexation has occurred and water's been extended, that's really eaten away, if you will, because Columbus has taken over those areas, right?
That is a part of it, yes.
And are there plans for Columbus to take over even more of the county areas? Is that in the works?
You know, Commissioner, I am not aware of what their expansion plans are at all. I just couldn't tell you, and I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. So it sounds like it's something we should be informed of and know about, and maybe be discussing with them in more detail.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
We kind of ran over there, didn't we?